All right, everybody, welcome to Birmingham, United Kingdom for the first round of the 2023 World Supercross Championship. Jeff Emig, and I am joined by three of the biggest names in the world of Supercross. You have your 2023 SX1 champion, Ken Roczen, 2023 SX2 champion, Shane McElrath, and a legendary star here from England, the local boy, Max Anstie. So, you guys, welcome. Here we are, finally back again for the first round of World Supercross. What's it like to be in Birmingham?
I love it. I mean, just getting out of the country again and seeing something new. I was just talking about it with a friend of mine. It's a completely different vibe. We see different stadiums, and we're going to be around different people and a full different setup, obviously. So I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, Max is like, you grew up right here, though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Aston Villa, the football, it's definitely an iconic place and something I'm proud to be a part of it, to be able to race here. It's pretty special, and got a lot of friends and family coming. It's going to get busy on Saturday. Let's put it that way.
And Shane, you're back now with the #1 plate from last year in the SX2, riding the 250 again. What's it feel like to be here?
It feels good. It feels real. I mean, last year it was the inaugural season of World Supercross, and this year a lot of the same guys are back and even more. So we have a much bigger schedule this year. Everything is going smoothly just like last year, but it's a lot more professional now, and we're excited to kick the series off and to keep building this thing because it's been a lot of fun up to this point.
Excited to kickstart it, huh?
Kickstart it. I'm not
Right.
kickstarting
I'm
this time.
Kickstart. So, Shane, primarily through your career, you raced in America.
Yeah.
Okay. Last year we started with the pilot season of this new World Supercross Championship. Only a couple rounds. Max, you raced a motocross Grand Prix World Championship. Same thing with Ken. Like, what does it feel like to now be involved in a championship where you're really going to take Supercross global? And when you look at the different rounds this year, what's that like to go race motorcycles now all around the world?
It still is a lot of learning for me, and like these guys grew up racing the GPs, like you said. Last year, well, as racers, we're constantly forced to adapt.
Yeah.
But last year, racing in the WSX series was a whole new format and style of racing. Though it was Supercross, like the whole schedule was different.
Yeah.
So it's a new forced adaptation, if you will.
Yeah.
And that's what last year taught me, is like we don't really know what we're going to or how it's going to go, and it's like you get here and you just kind of roll with it a little bit, and that was a lot of fun.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I was super routine oriented. So if I got out of my routine, I was a total basket case.
Yeah.
For you two guys that rode the Grand Prix circuit, yeah, there's a lot of changes and travel around the world, but there was also some familiarity. Here we're in the paddock area, and these are these areas where each team has to work out of, and bike and your changing area and all that. What's this like with WSX?
Yeah, so for me, if I'm being honest, like the whole GP scene, feels like a lifetime ago. Like I watched a race from Lommel not long ago, and it felt like it wasn't even
I mean, it's
me
10 years
racing.
ago, right? At least.
Yeah, or more.
Yeah.
So it has a sense of being new. Yes, it feels a little familiar, but still, like, we're really winging it a lot, right? Especially when it comes to the food side of things. I'm with you. I think we all thrive under being in a routine, and we have our thing going on, but at the same time, for me last year, I truly enjoyed the whole side of like, hey, where are we gonna get food? Like, we need to think about tomorrow. Like, everything, you kind of feel a little bit like a fish out of water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I actually enjoyed it. I felt like I kind of was thriving under those circumstances, even though it was a little bit weird, but it made it extremely fun for me. And then, of course, I did some other races too. And I always have my bus there, normally a motorhome, or I have my own space. But that's not the case here.
Well, you got the kids and everything too. Well, the wife and child.
Yeah, they're not here this time around.
Okay.
So that actually, it makes things a lot more like, when I'm on my own, I'm really like, hey, I want to go over here and I'm going to get that. When you have a kid, you have to plan it a lot more,
yeah.
right? But yeah, I would say that I actually enjoy that side of things, to not always be so routine and monotonous, you know what I mean? So I actually truly enjoyed that.
It's like the adventure of the unknown.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, Max, are you a curry fan? Because this city, Birmingham's like famous for curry. And I've had some pretty good curry. Do you know like the right place to go And then you could send
to
him
be
to the
honest,
wrong
Dean-
place because you guys got to race each other.
My teammate Dean went to have curry last night. He said it was great. It's not something that when I'm back at home, I'm lucky the wife cooks for me, so I'm pretty dialed. But back at home, as in America now, being based over there. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'll after this weekend, I'm staying for a couple of weeks to be back at home and. Yeah, maybe we'll go get some Indian somewhere.
It's actually a good tip because I'm down for some curry.
I've got the place, dude.
Oh, really?
Let
me know.
I'll tell you off camera. Yeah, oh yeah, fantastic. Tom Cruise goes there.
Yeah.
Pink, it's the place to go.
Huh.
So, this new World Supercross Championship, this new program, new promoting group and everything, we really are in some sort of groundbreaking territory. And do you guys feel the sort of significance right now that you guys are three of the top names that are going to take Supercross into places that it's truly never been, like we just added Abu Dhabi to the schedule? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely being a kid. As a kid, you look at Supercross, and that's where you want to get to. That's where you want to be, and it's America. Supercross is American. And you always thought, wow, it'd be so cool to race Supercross in all these different countries, and they should do a World Supercross series. And props to Adam Bailey and his guys. They've made this happen, and I'm grateful and proud to be a part of it. In my time, in my career, this could have happened, after or before, or whatever. But now it's actually it's happening. It's an idea that every household family that races dirt bikes and wants to watch Supercross has probably thought of, oh wow, they should do a World Supercross series, and now it's happening. So it's definitely cool to be a part of, and I think having new eyes on the sport is something pretty special too, and having different countries, different riders, France, England, Germany, America. We've got a whole host of guys now that can actually learn Supercross here in Europe.
Yeah.
And put a bit of emphasis on it, because you don't really, it's mainly outdoors if you're from Europe. So yeah, definitely cool.
Well, think about this journey that you've been on. You grew up where again?
North Carolina.
North Carolina, okay. I've ridden your track at your house in Germany. Super hard pack. Every bump's been there for like a couple decades. Think about the kid that you were riding that track, and now you're going to be racing in Singapore. You're going to be racing in the Middle East.
I think what I think is great, and I don't mean to sound disrespectful, but we're a little bit domesticated, right? We have a couple of races in Europe that are known, they're always the same, and then mainly everything is in the U.S. So I think to just be a part of taking it to the countries that really have no idea, and being part of teaching them really about what we do, and hopefully get all these guys more involved and just grow the fan base that that we have. Because I would say that our sport is fairly little in general, right? But now we have the opportunity to grow this whole thing. And I think just to be part of it is huge and exciting.
You have a favorite location that you're looking forward to?
Not necessarily right now. I haven't really looked too far into the schedule to start making plans. It's just like, all right, we're going to these places. But like these guys were saying, in the U.S., there are so many good riders that aren't from America. And that has really, I think we've kind of not really asked the questions, I guess, of why it's never really went global. And like Max was saying, Adam Baylor was just like, well, let's just do it. And so now you're seeing some of these guys do that. And it's so cool to, like last year when they were doing the team intros in opening ceremonies. And it's like you have Ken Roczen and Eli Tomac come out, and the crowd's like, they're going crazy. And then they have Max Anstie come out, and it's like, he was the loudest cheer. And it's really cool.
He's quite the stud.
And I know that for a lot of the racers in WSX, we may be going to their countries to race. And so to get to see the fans interact with their racer, it's like, that's something that I've never seen. Kind of like Ken said, being domesticated. It's like, I'm doing stuff I've really never thought about, but it's like American US is all I've known, But these guys coming over from the GPs or maybe coming straight over for Supercross and having to learn that stuff, it's like I'm doing what they've done later in life now.
So think back to when you were just wee little lads riding, throwing a leg over. What was your first bike? Anybody ride a PW50 as their first bike?
I had a LEM, LEM.
They didn't even have one.
In the U.S.?
No.
See, we don't have Cobras over there.
Yeah.
See, I rode JR50 and then went to LEM. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, the PW.
Who would you say was your biggest inspiration? Whether it's a dad, uncle, friend, pro racer. Do you remember the moment where you're like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to do that.
Go ahead.
I can never remember a time with not being around dirt bikes or not.
Well, your dad was a badass racer, so.
Like, it was.
Yeah.
I said this the other day to someone. It's like I can't remember life, or there was no life. There is no life without dirt bikes and riding. And someone was asking me about, oh, why do you keep coming back if you get injured or this and that? It's like there was never a question of not.
Yeah.
It's always this is us. This is what we do. And yeah, okay, we, you know, for our mental health, you know, we have a life, we have families and wives and kids, and there is a time away from racing, but racing is such a big part of us and what we do there. There's never this is everything. This is what we love to do, and we're just so passionate about what we're doing. I guess everyone at the top level of any sport, whether that's baseball in the States, whether that's football, whether that's basketball, they put so much into it, but you've got to love what you do. Mm-hmm. If you don't love what you do, there's no point in doing it. So I think,
inspiration.
To me, I didn't necessarily think like that when I was younger, but now after you ask that question, I think it comes back to our parents and our dad. Like I think racer, my dad didn't race that much, or not as professionally, and he wasn't as badass.
But he's a good rider, though.
Yeah, and it's the way they raised us. They're tough, right? They're tough some bitches. So honestly, though. We would fall or get hurt, and it's like what you said, that's what we did, and there was never a question about it. And our dad, they'd rough us up, and they're like, hey, you're fine, or whatever. So we didn't know any different, and I'm actually thankful for that, because I feel like maybe other sport, they tweak a little something, and it's like the world is about to end. And I think a little bit of that let's call it being old school, I think helped us. So now that I look back, I have a big time respect, and I have to say thanks to my dad, or I say our parents. They just...
Your dad ride, Jay?
Yeah, my whole family raced. Like, growing up, we would go to the local races. Like my dad was like a local pro, but my dad never raced his own bikes. Like he couldn't afford to buy his own bikes, so he would just borrow bikes and go race. And like my mom, both my sisters, they all raced something at some point. Yeah, so it's like that was.
Where are you at on the?
I have one younger brother, and I have 3 older siblings, another brother, and 2 older sisters. So we grew up racing, and that's what we did.
You know, throughout the coaching and all the stuff I've done, there's this point with youth sports, and for us it was motocross, right? You get to that 14, 15, 16-year-old age where all of a sudden you know everything. Well, you guys kids are too young, you don't know, but you know everything, your parents are stupid, that type of vibe. And it really is finding the love of the sport and that passion that there's not a one of us that hasn't got our butts chewed out on the way home from a race because you didn't give a good enough effort.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done. I'm not going to do this. But then you have that passion, that fire inside that, okay, I'm gonna get over that hump, if you will. Yeah. And that's the difference between, think about how many fast riders you were around when you were 14, 15, and where are they at now, right? You guys are here because you have this passion, this love for the sport that helps carry you through the tough time, because when it gets hard, you want to quit. But if you love it, you don't quit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and ultimately goes back to how we grew up, at least, and I think it's the same in the U.S., but we drive our motorhomes, and our childhood revolves around camping, riding bicycles, building jumps, like hanging out with friends all the time. Like that's stuff that, the people that I went to school with, they knew nothing about that, and it's something so rad. Like, I love going camping still to this day, and there's something so rad, so it made you want to come back, that you were looking forward to hanging out with all your friends, and especially when it came to, like, because I've raced Max, like, a long, long time ago, and a bunch of other dudes that are still racing, some are not, but we went to different countries, so we were kind of used to going to different cultures, I feel like, and different languages, and I had friends that we couldn't even really hardly communicate, but yet we hung out, so that,